What is up, cheeseheads? Welcome back to another episode of BAM GPG.
Yeah, hey everyone, go Pat go. Let's get right into it. What's the big picture heading into this one?
Yeah, absolutely, Bryce. I'm glad you asked here. So, on paper, the Packers should be firmly in control of this game here. They've won 3 in a row. They're sitting atop the NFC North and the NFC as the number 1 seed. And they've showed when it mattered the most, especially last week in that second half, why they're a serious threat in the NFL this year. And meanwhile, the Carolina Panthers, while they are improved over last year, and we did see some improvement with them towards the end of last season, they're still very much a work in progress, right? And there's a but, right, Bryson? And I say that because we're watching for a trap game scenario here. The Carolina Panthers are coming off a brutal loss last week, so they're looking to hit that reset button tomorrow in Green Bay. And the Packers, they need to stay sharp and they need to avoid taking this one lightly, right?
Yeah, and let's break it down into key areas. First up, what the Panthers bring and what the Packers need to stop it.
Yeah. So the Panthers, Bryson, their biggest offensive weapon right now is their rushing game, right? They're back. Rico Dowdle. He's been one of the better undervalued running backs in the league this year. He's logged a high amount of yardage and he's expected over what he's expected. So he's really been a legitimate rushing threat this season. And here's the kicker for the Packers. Green Bay's defense, the run defense, it's looked elite at times this season. They're allowing just 78.9 rushing yards per game this year, which puts real pressure on Carolina's offense to beat them through the air or by creating something unexpected. So for the Packers, this is not just about letting the Carolina Panthers make you play their way and then hitting them where they're weakest, right? Offensively, we'll need balance, smart play calling, and really no letdowns this game. And
Yeah, right. And Carolina's passing game historically this season still has holds, even if their starter returns, they've shown vulnerably. Let's talk Packers offense.
yeah, and it does look like their quarterback is going to be returning this week. It looks like he's practiced pretty much all week. It's been full participation when I've been watching the injury reports. So Packers offense, Bryson, the Packers offense, they look sharp here as of recently, especially that second half last week. Quarterback Jordan Love seems to be hitting the rhythm, and the tight end room, it's really showing up, and that's highlighted by Tucker Kraft's play and that offensive line. Ever since Zach Tom's been back, Bryson, they've really given Jordan Love that time in the pocket that he needs to find those receivers there in Green Bay. Now, facing Carolina, Green Bay really has the opportunity to dominate the line of scrimmage, right? And control the tempo of this game. Key matchup for this one, it can be Green Bay, the running game, going and force the Carolina to respect the play action, right? Get Josh Jacobs going. Wilson, get him running the ball as well. I don't know if you noticed last week, Bryson, they were pulling Josh Jacobs out of the game quite a bit. So I think that calf
Yeah,
injury maybe is a little more something than what was initially led on, which is good. Put him on a pitch count. We're going to need him later on in the season there.
yeah,
But
I'd also put him on a pitch count.
yeah, absolutely.
And
And
also, I'd want to mention Dontavian Wicks. I don't.
I believe he is out again this game with his injury still. So I don't know if we'll see Wicks, but having Christian Watson back out on the field's been a game changer for Green
Yeah, it
Bay.
has.
And Jordan Love's play here recently has been phenomenal. As we mentioned, he's really starting to come into a rhythm. And Bryson, I think you had a comparison with
Yeah,
Josh
Josh
Allen,
Allen.
right?
Yeah, Jordan Love has had better stats than Josh Allen this season.
Yeah, so he's absolutely in that MVP running at this point in the season. So excited to see that. So with the offense, if Love can really kind of capitalize and then get that run game going, get some of that play action going, if Love can capitalize on that and the Packers avoid those sloppy penalties, especially those pre-snap penalties that we've seen in some of the earlier weeks, and avoid any costly turnovers, that's how these poor teams, that's how poor teams like Carolina Panthers, that's how they stay in games against you
Yeah,
and create these trap game scenarios.
yeah. Also, something to watch. Carolina coming off a beatdown. They may be extra motivated, so the Packers cannot start slow like
No, they
they
have
did.
to come out guns a-blazing. They have to take this game serious.
Exactly like they did last week. They did start out slow.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we said earlier, Green Bay, stop the run. If Carolina can't
Yes.
consistently get their tailback going, their offense becomes one dimensional, right? And the Packers front and their linebacking core, they're going to have to maintain that gap discipline this game, stay fresh, and avoid getting pulled out of their assignments on each play, right? Meanwhile, on the flip side, Bryson, Green Bay's offense has to stay disciplined this game. Josh Jacobs, you got to get him going, got to get Wilson going. And when Josh Jacobs, when that running game is going, this offense really hums for the Green Bay Packers. Carolina's defense has had its issues stopping teams on the ground. So there is some opportunity to capitalize there. So execution on both sides is going to be critical tomorrow for the Packers. This is not just about winning a football game. This is about winning with authority and staying healthy heading into that Monday night showdown against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
So here's where things could go sideways for the Packers tomorrow, right? Underestimating the Panthers. So after that 40-9 loss last week, Carolina, they're going to be desperate. They're going to bring some energy, look for that reset, and letting the game slip away. If Green Bay jumps out to that early lead, starts to relax a little bit, momentum could certainly shift to Carolina's side, and avoid some of these mistakes. As we mentioned, we know the league really punishes on mistakes when you have these untimely turnovers, penalties, drive killers, right? And it sounds minor, but the TV footprint for this game is going to be a little bit smaller because of who the opponent is, which means a little bit less national attention and probably a little more local noise on this game here. So again, you'll want to avoid the trap game. I know there's not a whole lot. Um, you don't want to go in overconfident against these guys, right? There's not
Yeah.
a whole lot of national attention. It's not one of those big primetime games. So you got to go in, punch them in the mouth, keep punching them in the mouth, and keep going with these guys. So as we found out earlier in the week, Carolina's quarterback situation, it looks like Bryce Young is expected to return from his ankle injury. He's been full participation all week. So with him back, that does add that kind of that dynamic element to their offense. If something does happen to him, that Andy Dalton comes in, that's going to spell trouble, some serious trouble for Carolina there. So for the Packers, really, Bryson, this game is a stepping stone, right? They've proven that they can beat good teams this season. Now they have to prove that they can avoid these slip up games against teams like the Carolina Panthers, right?
Yeah.
So here's how I see it, Bryson. Green Bay should win this game handily. My projected score is I'm going to go with 34-14 this game. The odds do have Green Bay favored by 13.5 this game, with the over under at 44.5. What's your prediction for this game?
I'll go Packers.
What
Maybe Packers 35 and the Panthers maybe 13.
35-13. Now, for this to happen, Green Bay needs a strong first half. We
Yes.
haven't looked great in the first half the past couple weeks. We've really came out in the second half, been a much better team after making adjustments, but they need to really go into this first half here, and they have to dominate in the trenches this game, especially in the run game and on third down. They have to stay disciplined, right? None of those pre-snap penalties, none of those careless turnovers this game, and don't let Carolina get any of that cheap momentum, right? Because of those. Now, what we're going to be doing, Bryce, in this game, we're going to be looking at some of the third down conversions by Carolina's offense. Can Green Bay get get the Panthers off the field on those third downs, avoid, extending drives, wearing out that defense? And we're going to see how often Green Bay runs the ball this game and how early they run the ball this game to really set the tone and open up that play action.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
whether the defense forces at least, one big turnover or stops a red zone threat, that'll be something to watch for in this game too. And if any of the younger players on this Packer roster decides to step up this game, highlighting Matthew Golden. Maybe this is a potential Golden game where he comes out and really starts to kind of set the tone for the second half of the season here.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the end of the day's preview here, Bryce, and we'll be back
Yes.
post game. We'll bring you kind of the recap, our thoughts of the game, what went well, what didn't go well, and we'll slightly preview that Monday night matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles at Lambeau Field. So
Yes.
hopefully we're back on after a pretty convincing win tomorrow, Bryce, and looking forward to it.
Uh-huh.
And as always,
It's go Pat go.